Alright, welcome everyone. I am Niz, and you are watching NizCast. This is the CEVO-Open playoffs. We're in the losers bracket, round 5. We're back. We're in the top 4. We have Orenda, which we saw last night that we cast CEVO. They're going to be they're going to be playing on the Dire side, and they're going to be going up against Squid Jigglers, which are going to be playing on the Radiant side. Now, what's important about this match is that by both these teams getting here, they're in the top 4, so they should be guaranteed a spot into the main bracket for CEVO for next season, in Season 7, I believe it is. So they've already gotten that far in the tournament, but the important part is if whichever team wins this best-of-3 series, they're then guaranteed a top 3 finish. And top 3 is where the money is. I believe it's $701 still, divided up among the top 3 teams. So the winners of tonight are in the money, and they'll go on to play Void Boys, which actually drop down to the losers bracket finals. And then, of course, the winner of that will then go to the grand finals to play up against Astari. Some background on these teams. Well, we saw Orenda last week. We haven't seen Squid Jigglers yet. They finished, was it 6, I think, overall? Yeah, they finished 6th overall in the standings. So they did quite well for themselves. I think they had a record of 7-3-6. So definitely not too bad during the season. In the playoffs, they went up against Buyback Boulevard in round 1. They 2-0'd them, and then in round 2, they 2-0'd Groovy Gaming, and then they lost 2-0 to Void Boys, and that's how they got down to the losers bracket, where then they 2-0'd the Business Gaming, which we saw our first round that we cast. We cast Team Midnight versus the Business Gaming. So that's when we saw them. And, well, Squid Jigglers 2-0'd Business Gaming, and now we're here. Squid Jigglers up against Orenda. So that's a little background on how the Squid Jigglers got here. And neither of these teams actually played each other during the regular season, so there's no background there. But I think that's probably enough background. Let's actually just catch up with the draft here, as they've been drafting pretty quickly. We had Lion Axe, Earthshaker, and Dusa banned out by Orenda. Squid Jigglers banned out Shadow Fiend, Troll, Bat, and Storm Spirit. Orenda then picked up Vengeful Spirit and Juggernaut, and the Squid Jigglers picked up Clockwork, Sniper, and now Witch Doctor. So, what do we got so far? Well, we had Orenda opening with that Vengeful Spirit pickup, but not following it up with a Batrider pick. Instead, they chose to go with the Juggernaut. Batrider then subsequently got banned in that next set of bans. And Squid Jigglers went a little bit of a different route. They went with the Clockwork and the Sniper. So, picking up the Clockwork, one of the strong counters to Sniper, but also one of the heroes that does a really good job of protecting Sniper. So they've already got great synergy there, and then of course they banned out a hero that's really good at jumping on and picking off Sniper and the Storm Spirit. Got the Witch Doctors, actually their only support thus far. They've picked up their 3 cores that they've just picked up the Queen of Pain, so most likely it's going to be Clockwork in the off lane, Queen of Pain in the mid lane, and Sniper, Witch Doctor, and we'll be waiting on the 5th support, or 5th hero, which should be a support to round out their lineup. Orenda, they're drafting, I guess, a little bit more standard. Not that Squid Jigglers is really that far from standard, but we've got Orenda with the Juggernaut in the safe lane, most likely being with the Vengeful Spirit there, and Bristleback in the off lane thus far. And I imagine Orenda's either going to choose to pick up their mid laner, which would go up against that Queen of Pain, or maybe they're just going to pick up a support here before they get banned out. Okay, they're going to go with Puck, which is strong against Queen of Pain. Of course, Queen of Pain likes to Shadow Strike the opponent that she's up against in the mid lane, and, well, Puck can just phase it so she doesn't ever get hit by the Shadow Strike, and we'll actually most likely see Queen of Pain not even pick up Shadow Strike in that matchup because of that. But that should be a pretty even lane overall. And both those heroes kind of accomplish the same thing. They want to get going, they want to get a little bit of XP under their belt before they start moving out on the map and start picking people off, because that's when both of them shine. They're really strong mid-game heroes, really strong when you start getting into some team fights. They do it a little bit differently. Puck's a little bit more control-oriented. Queen of Pain's a little bit more burst-oriented. But in the end, they do essentially accomplish the same thing.
Dire team ban.
Skywrath Mage is going to be the final ban for Squid Jigglers. I was thinking that's actually potentially one of the strong pickups for Orenda at this stage, but that will get removed. It would be a strong pickup because the silence is incredibly good against Queen of Pain. But it also gives you a little bit more burst damage to kill one of those targets that's either locked down by the Dream Coil from Puck or from the magic missile of Vengeful Spirit. Orenda will ban out Enigma, so Squid Jigglers a little bit limited in the pool if they want to go for a more greedy jungler, with Enigma getting removed. I don't think Sand King would be that great of a pick for them. Chen could be a potential. Chen is always strong against Juggernaut. Just gives you a lot more units for Omni Slash to hit, so it's not going to be focusing so much on your heroes. So maybe they'll choose to go with that, or maybe they'll just choose to go with the traditional support hero. I'm trying to think of who would be left that would pair well with them. As we have Lion, Earthshaker, and Skywrath Mage removed. Who is left? Who is left? I mean, there's your typical like Dazzle and AA and stuff like that are left, but I'm not sure what any of those really lining up well with what they have so far. I think the Chen is probably the best pick here. But well, you have to keep in mind what your strengths are as a team, and you may perfectly well have someone who can play Chen, but that them being able to play Chen doesn't mean that it's the right pick here. If your team just doesn't really work well with playing around a Chen, or you guys don't have that much experience playing with the Chen or something like that, so they're not going to go with the Chen. They're going to go with the Sand King. So they are going to go with the greedy jungler. I think the Sand King will work. I personally would have preferred the Chen, but Sand King will work. It gives them a little bit more disable and lockdown, and I think they were lacking that in their draft, and that's one of the advantages of the Sand King over the over the Chen. And Bristleback will have to be a little bit careful in the off lane, as he can easily take a lot of damage from the Witch Doctor and the Sniper just from right clicks. And then all of a sudden, if Sand King makes a rotation over, Witch Doctor throws the cask, Sand King lands a stun, and that's going to be a dead Bristleback. So he has to be a little bit careful of the potential rotation from the Sand King. I think without a rotation from Sand King, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Bristleback to fall in that lane. But still, he has to keep that Sand King in mind. Bristleback could have the potential of kind of roaming over and maybe disrupting a little bit of what Sand King's doing with stacks and farming them in the jungle. But you have to be really brushed up on your timing to be able to line that timing up to go over there and essentially get yourself in a position where one Quill Spray will kill a bunch of creeps right before the Darude Sandstorm will. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to make advantage of that. And okay, Orenda's going to go with Zeus as their fifth and second support. And Zeus will give them some good burst damage to not only bring down the Sniper, but also bring down some of the squishier targets like the Witch Doctor and Sand King, and to some extent even the Queen of Pain. And the other thing that Zeus is actually strong at is also revealing the Sand King when he's sitting there in his sandstorm. So that won't be an option either, and it'll even help them with doing a little bit of counter warding as well. Just waiting for the last player to choose their hero here, and we're going to be into game one of this series. Like I said, this is the top four. This is losers bracket round 5. The winners of this will be in the money. They will be in the top 3, and they'll go up against Void Boys for the losers bracket finals. Winner of that goes up against Astari in the grand finals. But here we go. Last hero has been selected, so let's introduce the teams and the players. On the Radiant side, we have Squid Jigglers. Playing their Sniper is going to be Cat. Playing the Clockwork is going to be Prokofiev. Man, that's going to be a difficult name to say, I think. Playing the Queen of Pain is going to be Swift Tips. Playing the Witch Doctor is going to be Craft DD. And playing the Sand King is going to be... It's small backwards, but I think it's lambs. Well, I don't know if I'll call them small or lambs. But my... when I go to center on a hero, it seems to be skewed off to the side here. I may actually have to restart at some point. Whatever, we'll just have to go with it. But on the Dire side, we have Team Orenda, and they've smoked up, made their way into the Radiant jungle. Once again, trying to use that Observer Ward to spot out any kind of rotation coming from the other heroes and then jumping through the trees. But it's not going to really work out for them, as there's no heroes down here for the Radiant side. But let's introduce the heroes of Orenda. We've got Vengeful Spirit getting played by Linga. We have Bristleback getting played by what I used to call as Ho-OK, but it is Hook. And he's requested to be called as Hook. And Swift Tips is going to find himself in an awkward position here. He will get stunned up, but he will be able to get that blink off to get him back to safety. He did take a little bit of damage there, so losing a little bit of HP. But we'll continue with introducing the players. We've got the Juggernaut getting played by Kong. We have the Zeus played by Baidu. And last but not least, the Puck is going to be played by CY. No boots first for anyone on Orenda. We do have sentries on the Vengeful Spirit. But if we take a look at the Radiant side, well, they're all starting with boots first. Well, not all of them, but 3 of them. We've got Sniper starting with boots first in the mid lane going up against that Puck. We've got the off-lane Clockwork with boots first as well. And we even have the Sand King starting with boots first. And that's actually a little surprising, seeing the Sniper in the mid lane. And we'll take a look at all the lanes and who's going up against who in a second, as we've got a rotation here from Linga on the Vengeful Spirit, getting a stun off on Clockwork. Burning through a little bit of his regen there. He's going to be down to probably 2 tangos by the time his HP gets up to a comfortable amount. But he's going to be going up in this off lane on the Clockwork up against Juggernaut, Vengeful Spirit, and the Zeus. Zeus doing a lot more of the pulling. Mid lane, we are going to have Sniper up against Puck, so they're not going to get that Queen of Pain Puck matchup. It's going to be Sniper up against Puck instead. In the bottom lane, that's going to be an off-lane Bristleback going up against a safe lane Queen of Pain with Witch Doctor helping her out and Sand King doing his stuff in the jungle. But first, he's got to bring out a set of... oh, wow, we had a kill in the mid lane as CY gets first blood onto Cat.
Fascinating substance.
Obviously, Sniper maybe playing a little bit too aggressive there and just getting caught out. But CY finding a way to get a solo kill early on in this game. But Small having to bring out the sentries and do a little counter warding here as a couple of his camps were blocked out. But Orenda off to an early 1-kill lead. And we've got the Mini Pudge bringing out the bottle for CY, and he's going to use those charges as he makes his way up to the top rune to bottle up a haste. How are our farmers doing so far? We've got Kong leading the way at 12-4 on this Juggernaut. The opposing safe laner and the Queen of Pain a little bit behind at 8-4. But she'll be able to get a couple CS here, as it looks like she's got a few more creeps left in her wave than the Juggernaut does. But here, I talked about the Sand King rotation. Here comes Small, wrapping around on Hook. He will get the Burrow Strike off, followed by the Shadow Strike. There comes the Cask. It won't bounce to anyone. And now they're just going to try to right-click down the Bristleback. I don't think they're going to be able to actually get the kill here. The supports need to be careful. They could lose a lot of HP here from the Quill Spray. And now Hook is going to turn it around. He's going to get 1 kill onto Craft, and I think he's going to get second. There he goes. He gets the double kill. The 3-man gank is a complete disaster for Squid Jigglers as they lose both supports to the Bristleback. And Swift Tips, I think he realized the fact that they were not going to get that kill onto Bristleback. Maybe he called back or whatever, but he seemed to bail out. And the 2 supports kept going, so maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Small will TP down here and follow that up with a Burrow Strike onto Hook, getting a little bit more damage in. Now that Hook doesn't really have too much mana, it's a little bit different. You can play a lot more aggressive onto that Bristleback and not really have to worry too much about eating a ton of Quill Sprays. Proko getting zoned out a little bit here by Linga and making his way to the top rune location where he'll run into CY and he'll have to throw down a set of cogs, and he's already used battery assault as well. CY has that haste rune popped and will come up and try to man up on Proko, but Proko is winning that man battle, and Cat will come in and help out his teammate, but CY will get the rune, and it's just a bounty rune, but it will refresh his bottle, and now he's going to be more on the aggressive, going after Cat here. We've got Cat and CY exchanging right clicks here. Cat will be the victor in that battle, but Hook making a rotation over and finding the Witch Doctor in the jungle, getting another kill on him. He did pick up a double damage rune in the bottom location, so that allowed him to get that kill, and now he's going to take one of these stacks. So I mentioned a little bit in the draft of whether or not that Bristleback will be able to make those rotations over and disrupt the Sand King. And we can see just how much Small has been struggling this game. He only has one last hit. And that's not what you want to see on your Sand King. He's about to hit level 3 here, so he'll be a little bit quicker at jungling as he gets to level 2 of the Sandstorm. But he doesn't have any stacks, so he's going to be killing them faster, but he's not... whoa! Hook getting another kill onto the Queen of Pain, so Swift Tip's going down. Hook just dominating this game, absolutely. As he's already found himself 4-0-0 score so far. His team's only ahead 5-1, so he's the brunt of that. Now Linga coming down here, centering up another camp, making sure that Small won't be able to keep farming. As we've got another solo kill in the mid lane. This time it's going the opposite way as Cat gets a kill onto CY. I'm missing a little bit of these kills. And we see Small still sitting there in his Sandstorm. Linga has placed the sentry, so he's going to go for the kill onto Small. He will stun him up, but I think he needs, yeah, he's going to need probably 2 more right clicks. Oh, well, 1 more now after the Wave of Terror. But Linga unfortunately not able to finish that kill. He will come back here to try and finish up this big creep. And as soon as he finishes doing so, he'll go for the bottom rune, which is just spawning, and that's going to be a bounty. Top rune was Invis, and CY will look to pick that up. Cat had to go all the way back to base as he didn't really have too much regen and wanted to maybe preserve some of that. Well, it'll actually be Hook who will bottle up the bounty rune. He's got a bottle on that Bristleback, which isn't... I don't want to say it's unusual, but it's definitely not kind of the go-to for most Bristlebacks. And we've got Linga with playing as aggressive as he was. He's going to get caught out here by Small, Crafty, and with a little help from an Assassinate from Cat in the mid lane, they will claim a kill there. So they narrow the gap a little bit. 3-5 now is the score.
Radiant's
and
bottom
Hook
tower is under
just
attack.
so dominant in this bottom lane, forcing Swift Tips way back and making him respect the fact that this Bristleback can just run at you. Another solo kill in the mid lane as CY gets one. Dream Coil was used there. Both these heroes have been so close in their exchanges.
Top tower is under
But
attack.
CY gets the better of Cat there just by about 70 HP. But need to be careful. Small coming in will get the bro strike off on him, but he won't really have any more damage to be able to finish off that kill.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We compare our safe laners again. We've got Kong still leading the way at 41-12. Swift Tips, despite being completely bullied by Hook in this bottom lane, has narrowed the gap a little bit, 35-17, so he's only 7 CS behind. But if we compare the offlaners, we've got Hook at 27-4 CS, and the opposing Clockwork at 7-1. Mid lane, pretty much dead even. 26-10 on the Puck, 25-4 on the Sniper. So Puck getting a little bit more in terms of denies, but in terms of actually last hitting, they're pretty much dead even. We've got a little bit of rotation here from Linga and Hook after they just secured the bottom bounty rune, and CY was able to get the top rune, which was an illusion.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Kong using the Omni Slash. I heard it, didn't see it, but he will use the Omni Slash to get a solo kill there onto the Clockwork. And both runes were secured there by Orenda, and you can tell just how much they're starting to take over control of this map. We've had Kraft trying to stop them from coming into their jungle, but still Linga's been all over the place there. They did catch him once, But with Hook being so dominant in this bottom lane, it's so hard for them to do anything to really stop him. See, he just dives way past the tower. He's got a creep wave on him. He doesn't care. Because he's just going to force Swift Hips way back and force him to basically run away and just abandon that lane. And you have to keep in mind, this is an off lane. Snipe goes out from Cat. He does get a kill onto CY. So is that the 4th solo kill that we've seen in the mid lane? I think it's been 2 for 2.
Radiant's
Proko
tower is under
playing a little bit aggressive there, but with no mana left on Kong, he's not going to be able to do too much damage to him. He still has Omni Slash on cooldown for another 60 anyways, but he does have to be careful. Cat's coming up here, and if Proko manages to land a Cogs off on one of these targets, Cat could very well get a kill.
Dire's middle tower
But they have spotted Cat up here now, so the chance of that happening is a little low, but never mind. Proko will catch Kong in the Cogs, but he's going to go down. But here we go. Cat gets the assassinate off, which brings him down to 6, and Kong will go down to the shrapnel. But CY is just TP'd on up here, and looks like he's gonna on a Cat here. He will. CY wins that time.
Will you not?
Kraft TP'd away, and Linga wasn't able to interrupt it.
Dire's middle
So
tower
Orenda
is
getting
under attack.
caught out a little bit there. They lose their safe lane farming Juggernaut, but they do claim another kill on the mid sniper. So it's not the worst trade for them. And they are still ahead in this game, 9-5. And we really have to keep our eyes on Hook, as he's going to be able to completely dominate this game going forward. You can see just how much gold is under his belt. As I'm actually going to switch over to the net worth, and we can see he's the top farmer in the game, despite being an offlaner, at 4,700 net worth. He's actually 300 ahead of the Juggernaut. And Proko getting quite low. Kong, ooh, gonna try to cast. That was a little bit of a nifty play there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to reach. We're going to see Swift Hips go down here. He does get the ultimate off, and then Cat comes in, cleans up the kill onto CY, and then Small, Kraft, Proko, and Cat managed to get another kill onto Linga. 7-10 now, the score. Orenda still leading the way. But if we bring up the gold graph, you can see they're leading the way by a little bit more than you would typically expect with just a 3-kill lead, as they're already past 5k ahead, and XP's just about 4k in their favor as well. But definitely don't count Squid Jigglers out of this. They're definitely going to stay in this. Ooh, Proko. A little bit vulnerable there. Kong almost getting the kill, but Proko laying down the set of cogs, and the last slash of that didn't hit Proko. It switched to a creep. He says, good game, well played. It was a misclick. So that's not the end of this game. We're still going forward. But in terms of the farmers and who's going to be doing the damage on this Radiant side, you have to say Cat's been struggling a little bit, but he's still doing the best on his team. The one that's been struggling, actually, I don't even want to single out Swift Hips, has been struggling the most, because I mean that Bristleback he got off to an early start, especially getting that double kill on the 2 supports. It's going to make it a little difficult for the Queen of Pain to really dominate that lane as much as she should. And then on top of that, the Sand King got completely shut down. They're going to look to get a kill here on CY, who will jump out. Ooh, almost dies to the assassinate, as he had already used his phase shift. But now he'll just try to bottle up. He does have haste activated. Ooh, but he will go down. Swift Hips claiming a kill there with the Screen of Pain, followed up by a right click. Now Hook, kind of in no man's land here, stuck in the river between the two sides, and he's going to be taking a bunch of damage on his way out. But he's a damn tanky Bristleback at this point in the game, and he just showed everyone his back, and that means he's not going to take much damage at all. We see our first top tower go down as Orenda claimed the top tier 1. We'd already had them claiming the bottom tier 1. Squid Jigglers yet to claim a tower, so they do have a little bit of gold available to them in the source of some tier 1 towers. Oh, great recovery from Small as he manages to pick up his Blink Dagger on that Sand King. It is 13.5 minutes into the game, so that is a little bit of a slow timing. But with the start he had, that was a terrific comeback to be able to get that Blink Dagger at 13.5 minutes. CY managing to kill Swift Tips there in the bottom lane, catching him out. Had to use the Dream Coil for that. We've got a smoke up for Orenda as Hook and Linga will be on the hunt in the Radiant jungle, and they're going to look to go on Cat here, who has just purchased the Hand of Midas. It's flying in on the courier right now. Baidu will throw out the Thunder God's Wrath to assist in this kill. They will get the kill, and they'll back away safely. No TP response coming in from anyone on the Radiant side. Small and Kraft were both relatively close, but not using a TP. Kraft was the only one with a TP. But I don't think they've shown this Blink Dagger yet. They may have shown as he walked through mid. This Observer Ward may have just seen him, but I'm not sure if the creeps were up on the high ground. But with that Blink Dagger available on the Sand King, they could look to get a big epicenter, or even just use it to get a Blink Burrow Strike. Proc using the hook shot to try and hold down CY long enough for them to get enough damage in, but CY able to escape. Oh, never mind. Swift Tips will throw out the ultimate and get the kill onto both Linga and Juggernaut. Proko will go down as well, as now Hook just keeps charging forward. He's going after Cat, and I don't think there's any way that Cat's going to be able to get on out of here. Baidu will actually get the kill with the Zeus Lightning Bolt.
To kill you?
And once again, Orenda comes out ahead in that exchange, 3 for 2, as we take a look at the show fight recap, and well, it's about 1,600 gold swing further in their favor. And CY picking up a Dagon on this puck, so electing not to go with the Blink Dagger as a first item. He'll go with the Dagon instead. As, oh my goodness, look at all the gold on Hook, and he's going to get more here with the last one on the tower. He's at 3,800 gold. I wonder what he's been saving up for. Maybe he actually will go for a relic. That's a little unusual, but I mean, maybe Hook could go and build into a Radiance. I don't think he's going to, but it's a little strange to see him save up that much gold, going all the way up to 3,800.
To the Swift, the spoils. Fancy beating you here.
Kong will find Kraft with that haster, and Kraft didn't really have a chance there. And on the back of that kill, they're going to ping to go for Roche. They don't have a medallion up on this eventual spirit, but Wave of Terror getting maxed first will greatly reduce the armor on that Roche, and with the amount of damage that Kong's been putting out, or going to be putting out at this stage in the game, they should be able to bring Roche down fairly quickly. Linga should have to come back and help. In the meantime, we had another kill, as it was actually down in the Radiant jungle. CY managing to get a kill onto Swift Tips using that Dagon. And there we go. Roche went down. Kong picked up the Aegis.
Tower is under attack.
And there wasn't much resistance there from Squid Jigglers. As Orenda definitely in a demanding, or in a commanding lead right now. As we'll take a look at the net worth graph again, as now we're past the 10k mark, approaching 12k. Just 17 minutes in this game, as Orenda not only stays ahead, but continues to pull further and further ahead. CY almost getting caught out there. In fact, he will get caught out there by the hook shot, but a terrific swap coming up from Linga to help his teammate. There comes that Burrow Strike on the back of the Blink Epicenter, and that will help them get a little bit of kills. Small getting quite low. He'll have to fall into the Burrow Strike, but Kong with the spin will clean up that kill. So that was actually looking like it was going to be okay for Squid Jigglers, but they do lose 3 just to get 2. So once again, Orenda comes out ahead. Because Squid Jigglers is so far behind, the gold change is almost equivalent. So there's really no advantage either way. There might have been XP. I actually didn't check XP before I got rid of that. But I imagine Squid Jigglers would have gained more XP on the back of that. Hook spent that gold on an S and Y. Now he's going to pick up a double damage, which he'll toss in his bottle and save for a little bit later. But I guess we should cycle through all the heroes. We'll start with the dire side. We'll start with Orenda, as Linga has his Tranquils and a stick, but mainly he's just been supporting. He's been taking up the 5 role, and he's going to get picked off here, as he's going to get Blink initiated on by the Sand King, and that's going to get followed up by Proko just kind of coming in, just throwing down a flare and just some right clicks. But we'll continue to move on with the other heroes, as we've got Hook, who we just pointed out picked up that S and Y. He's also got a Vanguard and 2,100 gold. CY getting assassinated there, but Cat choosing to cancel that. Kong has still has that Aegis, but he's got a Mask of Madness and a Yasha and 3,100 gold on hand. We'll look to see if he chooses to go into Manta or what at this point. I imagine he will finish his Manta, but choosing not to do so quite yet. Baidu almost done his Cyclone Stick, his Yule Scepter. So look for him to finish that shortly. And CY still level 1 Dagon. Does get caught out here by a set of cogs. And he will get pushed and followed up by an Assassinate. And he will be able to claim the kill onto Proko. But Swift Hips will jump on in and claim that kill with a Scream of Pain. Kong coming in, claiming another kill onto Kraft. He won't be able to find Cat there as he hides and TPs away. He will find Small, who will Burrow Strike up onto the pillar. But then he gets cancelled on his TP by Baidu. And once again, Orenda claims 3 kills. I don't think they've managed to get more than 3 kills in a fight yet, but they're repeatedly getting at least 3 kills in every one of these engagements. And now they're going to look to get a tier 2 tower on the back of it. They haven't yet pushed a tier 2 tower, so this will be the first one to go down, but they have claimed all the tier 1s. And that tower is just about to fall. There it goes. We'll see an Assassinate come out, which will claim the life of Kong. But he does have that Aegis, so he will respawn, but he'll respawn into a Cogs push. Just burning a little bit of his mana, but that's a level 1 Cogs, I believe. Yeah, so it's not going to burn too much of his mana. Let's move on and take a look at the heroes on the Radiant side and what they have in terms of items. Well, we saw Cat pick up that Hand of Midas pretty early on into the game, but it hasn't really paid off for itself quite yet. He just has a Blade of Alacrity and a Ring of Aquila, so still not even able to finish a Yasha. Kraft, well, he's struggling a little bit on the support. He's actually the lowest net worth in the game at just 1,100. Proko looks like he's going for 4 staff as his first item. He went Tranquils into a Staff of Wizardry. Small has been doing quite well despite how far behind he was early on in the game, as he picked up that Blink Dagger at 13.5 minutes and has since picked up a 4 staff, and now he'll look to Burrow Strike in, stunning up Hook, but I don't think they're going to look to go on the back of that. And our last hero to take a look at is just respawning now, and that's Swift Hips on the Queen of Pain, who has the Orchid recipe and an Oblivion Staff, as well as a Robe of the Magi, but still waiting to finish that second Oblivion Staff before that recipe will combine to complete that Orchid. Small hiding up here in the looking for a potential engage onto Kong. His teammates were rotating up here, but Kong playing a little bit safer, and immediately Small recognizing the fact that there's a ward up there, but they will still get the initiate onto Kong, and they'll be able to blow him up. Thundergod's Wrath will come out, but it gets him kind of low, but not really that low. As CY will run away, but now he's going to look to re-engage. There's that Dagon burst damage, claims him the kill onto Proko, but he goes down as a result. I believe that's a Dagon 3 now, yep. But meanwhile, while all that action was going on in the top lane, the other 3 heroes for Orenda were gathered in the bottom lane. They're going to push this tier 2 tower. And we'll have to look and see if Squid Jigglers chooses to defend this. It doesn't look like they will. They did manage to finish that Orchid on the Queen of Pain as a result of those pickoffs in the top lane. So we'll look to see if they're going to be able to use that to secure more kills, as that's going to make the Juggernaut a little bit more vulnerable. But speaking of vulnerable, we've got Cat vulnerable here, as Hook is going to run in and try to... Oh my goodness, that was so close to Cat going down. Just that last auto attack just didn't go off before the TP finished. And that means Cat's going to get back to safety in his own fountain, as he's going to look to regen up a little bit of his HP and try to get out there, try to find a little bit more farm, as he has finished the Yasha, but 750 gold on hand. He's a long ways from being that scary sniper that does so much damage in the back lines while you're unable to get to him. Kong elected to not finish the Manta. He went with the Egg Scepter instead. A common variation of the build that we normally see. And looks like Baidu is going to be going for an Egg Scepter of his own, as he's finished the Yule Scepter. And he's already halfway to that egg, so he's picked up the Point Booster and the Staff of Wizardry. Now he's just popped his Soul Ring, and he's going to come down here. Maybe to just zap the creeps a little bit, but a little bit of a wasted Soul Ring there. Small will jump up onto the pillar here, doing a little bit of counter warding.
Radiant's middle
Meanwhile,
tower
Kraft will
has
get a
been
deny on
denied.
that mid-tier 2 tower. So Squid Jigglers losing all their outside
Double damage.
tier towers, tier 1 and 2 towers. Just have the high ground tier 3s and tier 4s left. And Kraft coming out, placing a ward, but he's going to find himself in the middle of all these heroes. I don't even know if CY or if anyone else did any damage to him besides CY. CY just comes in with the zap from the Dagon. It is a Dagon 4, and it seemed like a one-shot. I'm not sure if it actually was. We'll have to check the HP of that Witch Doctor when he respawns, as I think he was full HP. So it may have actually just been a right-click and a Dagon. But Dagon 4 does 700 damage, minus the magic resist. And it's 600 on the Witch Doctor. It would have had to have been a right click and the Dagon 4, but still, that's practically, it's almost a one shot. I know it's a 2-shot, but I mean the auto attack goes hand in hand with the Dagon. You don't. It's just, it's a one shot. We'll give it to him. Hook goes with a Reaver, so I imagine he's going to build that into a heart, and he's going to be so tanky. And Kong going for a Blink Dagger on this Juggernaut. Still hasn't gotten it on him, on his person yet, as it's going to be flying in from the Courier. But that's going to allow him to not only position himself a little bit better with a Blink followed up by an Omni Slash, but he can also, if he finds himself already in a good position, if he leads with an Omni Slash, you can actually blink between the slashes of Omni Slash and continue your Omni Slash. So if you were going to finish your Omni Slash on off on like the last target, or maybe you jumped to a creep wave and the person ran away from the creep wave, you can actually blink to them and keep your Omni Slash going. So he's going to look to make advantage of that. Swift Tips has since picked up a point booster on this Queen of Pain, so looking to build towards an Egg Scepter. Kraft hasn't really been able to build much of anything. He has picked up a Gauntlet of Strength to get his HP up a little bit higher. But that's not going to help him too much to survive that burst coming up from CY if he chooses to use the Dagon 4. Small somehow didn't get hit with that orb, and he will get spotted out though, and now he'll hop into a Sandstorm and then blink away immediately, making sure he doesn't get caught out. Cat starting to make a little bit of item progression as he picks up his Maelstrom. Look to see him build that into a Mjolnir. He doesn't have a Mask of Madness, but he does have the increased attack speed through a Hand of Midas. So we're not going to see a sniper attacking as fast as we normally do. But he will still be attacking relatively quickly. Small just used Epicenter followed by a Blink Strike onto, well, what was unfortunately an illusion of a Vengeful Spirit. So Linga with some good micro there, baiting out an Epicenter, and it was immediately pinged out by Linga as well, pointing out the fact that, hey, this guy has just used his Epicenter on my illusion. Let's maybe look to do something on the back of this, or maybe just letting his team know that, hey, Epicenter's off the table for now. It's going to be quite some time, another 80 seconds from now before it's going to be back up. So we can farm relatively freely without having to worry about too much. They do still have to keep in mind that Queen of Pain with her burst damage can do quite a lot of damage to you, and if Sniper's around, an Assassinate on the back of that, he's pretty much going to be a dead any hero pretty much on your team. You see Kong working away at Roche. Baidu coming down to scout out the area. He just finished his Egg Scepter. So the Courier just delivered that. Linga hasn't actually come into Roche Pit yet to help out his teammate, but he should now, as he throws out the Wave of Terror and uses the Medallion to reduce Roche's armor even further. And we even have Hook coming in and throwing out a little bit of snot onto Roshan there to further reduce his armor. I believe he was down to 0 armor there. Squid Jigglers trying to claim their first tower of the game, as they're going to rotate 4 heroes up here to do so. Orenda just rotating the 1, and that's going to be CY, but the tier 1 tower is going to go down before CY even gets up there to potentially try and pick off a straggler. But those heroes will actually TP away from that top lane and come down to defend their bottom lane, where Linga and Hook are pressuring in that bottom lane. In the mid lane, we had
Radiant's
Kong and
middle
Baidu
tower is under attack.
pressuring there. And in the top lane, we had CY, who managed to, with the help of Baidu's Thunder God's Wrath, managed to pick off
Radiant's bottom tower is under
one
attack.
hero in the top lane, and it will be Cat who
Dire's
will
top tower
buy back
is
into the
under
game.
attack.
So now will Orenda look to still try and push high ground, or will they choose to back away? They don't have that Thunder God's Wrath available to them. All the ultimates on the Radiant side are available. Proko will get the hook shot off onto CY and manage to pick him off. So Squid Jigglers with that pickoff may have
Radiant's bottom tower
held
is under
on to
attack.
this push, or maybe not. Orenda's got better ideas as they're going to try and break the high ground here as they start smacking away at that tier 3 tower. It still has 368 HP left. Kong was actually farming in the jungle. He'll come down and meet up with them. Swift Tips now just finishing the Egg Scepter on the Queen of Pain. And Kong also finishing a Basher. It's just flying in from the base though, so he won't have it for maybe about another 30 seconds. If Orenda chooses to wait for the next wave of creeps, it should arrive in time. But Kong doesn't wait at all as he's going to blink forward, follow that up with an Omni Slash, and with some lucky bounces, or well, I guess they're lucky bounces, he will manage to claim the kill onto Cat, who, keep in mind, has just bought back, so he's not going to be able to come back into the game. And he also even got a kill onto Craft on that Witch Doctor. And with those 2 kills, I think Orenda is going to be able to secure these racks, but never mind, they're going to engage with both an Epicenter and a hook shot, as they're going to get a kill onto the Zeus, and now they're going to look to maybe try and help out Swift Tips as Hook is going insane, running at everyone on this tanky bristleback. While he's doing so, Kong and Linga are taking those racks. Hook will get forced back, and maybe he's gone a little too deep here. Well, maybe not, as I believe that was Linga 4 staffs him back. Nope, it must have just must have actually been a 4 staff from the Radiant side. And now Orenda will just look to back away. Linga, realizing he was going to get caught out, just tries to TP and hope that Small still doesn't have a Burrow Strike up off cooldown, but he does get caught off. Well, CY has actually finally picked up that Blink Dagger as he's finished a Dag on 5. And we're going to have another Basher coming out, and that's going to be on Hook. On this Bristleback, who has finished his Heart. So we saw just how tanky he was, and now he's going to have a Basher on the back of that. Let's take a look at the gold graph, and oh my goodness, it's almost 25k. Orenda way out ahead in this one, as they've also claimed that set of racks. And they've only lost 1 tower. As a ping comes out for Squid Jigglers to push this tier 1 tower, so maybe they would like to go after a second, but choosing not to. Thunder God's Wrath is going to come out and just scout out where they potentially could be.
Here I am.
It looks like everyone's going to be kind of regrouping and trying to stay with their teams. There are a few heroes that are a little ways away. That's Proko and Swift Tips. And they need to be careful as CY's coming in to potentially pick them off. He'll blink forward. He won't be able to catch that Queen of Pain. We had a hook shot coming off. I'm not sure if that was to hook to someone else or maybe it just missed on Hook. But Hook will keep charging forward. He's completely alone right now, and he's going to find himself engaged on 4 heroes. And here's where that Heart's really helping him out. He will go down though, and he's going to respawn with that Aegis. We're going to see Epicenter getting used there by Small, who will try and drop into the Sandstorm, but he'll go down with a little bit of nuke from Baidu, and Hook getting the last full spray off. I see Proko going down to that Dagon from CY, but Cat also managing to get a kill onto Baidu, but there is a little bit of revenge as Cat goes down, and now Swift Tips go down as well. We have a buyback from the Sand King, but it's just going to be him, him and the Witch Doctor, the 2 supports looking to try and defend as best as they can, but looks like we're going to lose Small here, and now Craft. He was trying to come up, trying to come near the racks and help out, but Kong just blinks forward, uses that Omni Slash, and claims another kill. As we see our second set of racks going down, and now some of the effigies are going to go down. We're going to see GG get called by Cat. So Orenda will take game 1 of this best of 3 series, and they're just 1 game away from advancing to the losers bracket finals. Once again, I'm Niz. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that game, and hopefully you're going to stick around for the rest of the series, as this is a best of 3 and we do have at least 1 game left. And it will be Orenda taking the 1-0 lead in the series. And like I said, hopefully you're going to stay with us for those next game. The next game or maybe the next 2 games. If you do have to take off, please, if you enjoyed the cast, hit that follow button on twitch.tv/NizCast. And you can also follow me on Twitter, where I tweet about all the stuff I'm going to be casting and everything going on with the tournaments that I'm casting. And you can also follow on YouTube, youtube.com/NizCast, where I'll be uploading the VODs from tonight's games. So they'll be up within about 24 hours, so you guys can go check out the VODs if you want to just check back on something, or maybe link it to a friend or something like that. But I've got another lobby to hop into, so stick with us for just a few minutes as we get that underway and listen to some Approaching Nirvana in the meantime.